it's Yas, and we are here for the December Oracle reading. I cannot believe that we have reached the last month of the year. I don't know about you, but this year has been something else. It has felt like the shortest year that I've ever experienced, but it's also felt like 10 years compressed into one. Ugh, it's been life-changing, if I can call it that. There were so many challenges and struggles that came to its head this year. It gave me no choice but to surface itself that I had to acknowledge and face either by taking action or walking away. And as tough as it has been, I'm really grateful that this year was exactly what it needed to be. And I know that I'm not alone in having gone through this experience. I've been seeing other collective readings where the exact same experience has been coming up for people, and the cards that I've drawn for the December reading absolutely tells that story. And quite a few cards came up for the reading. So if you have been following my previous readings, you know I ask three questions, and it's the same three questions, which I'll go over again. But for each question, I got three cards that jumped out of the deck while I was shuffling. So I have nine cards in total. I've never had this many cards for a reading before. And I almost feel like I'm being challenged to like up my game with the readings because in the past, like when one card came out or two cards came out, it was relatively simple to interpret the message and to also follow the guidebook that the author of the deck provides. But to get three cards for every single question, it felt like it was it was inviting me to bring my own intuition forward for this reading, to not rely so much on what the book says. And I absolutely did that for this reading. And I hope that it resonates for whatever it is that you're going through in your life right now. So let's get into the reading. I'll quickly go over the questions for the reading. The first question is, what is the theme for the month? Question two is, what is it that requires healing or attention in our lives? And question three is, how can we invite more abundance into our lives? And this is all specific for the month of December 2024, if you're watching this at a later time. And after that reading, I will then go into divine guidance. That is where you get to pick one of two cards that I've drawn that I believe will provide you with the answer or some guidance to whatever it is that you have on your mind, something that is concerning you. And of course, if you feel called to pick a card, you have complete choice in what you choose to receive. All right. So let's get started with the reading. Because I mentioned there are so many cards, I'm just going to briefly lift them up. I'm not going to describe them in detail because that will take way too much time. And I'll jump straight into what I believe the mixed or the integrated message is for each question. So first, we're looking at what is the theme for this month. The three cards are To the Sea, Flexible, and Co-Create. And these three cards coming up tells me that it's asking us to go with the flow, be adaptable to new opportunities, and to also consciously co-create your life. Now, I'll explain what that means. But whatever area of your life this is applying to, you're going with what life is giving you. All right. Life is giving you lemons and you're doing your best to make that lemonade. You're going with the flow. Whatever opportunities are coming your way, or even lack of opportunities, you're making do. So if something has slowed down or come to an end in your life, here is space that has been created for you to do something new, perhaps something you've never done before. And that can look different for everyone, depending on what it is that you most need at this time. So if it is the case that something has really slowed down or come to an end, it could be an invitation for you to just pause, take some time to rest, to reflect, to think about where it is that you want to go in your life. And it's totally okay to take time out to just stop, do nothing, and think about everything that has happened, what it has taught you, what it is that you do want for yourself. I know that it is always important to take action and to take accountability for yourself and for your life, but I have also learned that it is absolutely okay to take some time to do nothing and to just let the answers come to you. It's often when we're in stillness and not really expecting anything that the answers that we need find its way to us. But of course, this reading is for a large group of people, and this may not be the case for you. Maybe things haven't slowed down. Maybe things have been crazy busy, speeding up, and it could be great. It could be not so great. But if things are going at a really fast pace, perhaps the invitation here is for you to think about, is this truly making you happy? Having a lot to work on, striving and being busy and achieving, they're all great. But is it truly what makes you happy? Is this how you want to live your life? Is it sustainable? The pace that you're going at, is it something that you can see yourself continuing doing for the long haul, for the rest of your life? And if not, do consider what it is you perhaps need to cut back on. Maybe you need to reevaluate your priorities, what it is that you truly value, and make time for that. And that last card, co-create, that is reminding us that we are not alone in how we are choosing to create our lives. And if it has seemed like you've been on your own, it has been the case for me this year. It has felt like there hasn't been much support in the physical world. It can feel very lonely and very daunting. But we must always remind ourselves that we're never alone. We have an amazing team in the spiritual realm that is guiding us, cheering us on, and supporting us through every step of the way. And they will be as loud as we invite them to come into our lives. So if you have not really been receiving that divine guidance, make that something that you do dedicate time to. And it's not something that we do just once off and like expect an answer immediately. That wasn't the experience that I had. I didn't hear the answers at all in the very beginning. And it took like continuous practice for the answers to start showing up as whispers over time. And now I'm at a point where I have full-blown conversations in my mind with whichever guide or spirit or energy is wanting to connect with me. And I receive exactly what I need to hear when I open myself up to get those answers. So remind yourself of that. You're not alone, and you can call on that support anytime from whatever it is that you feel called to call upon the universe, your spirit guides, your ancestors, whatever it is, they're there. They're with you. They're with you right now. They're so glad that you're here right now, watching this, taking care of yourself, pouring into yourself. They want to help you. So know that you can call on them. Okay, so that was the first question. The next question, what is it that requires healing or requires our attention this month? The three cards are the Fates, Fork in the Road, and Round and Round. And the combined message of these three cards are to accept what is, to choose the path that you believe is best for you, and to look at things from a higher perspective. Okay, so whatever area of your life this applies to, you've been going at it in a certain way, you've been doing things a certain way, and there comes a time where you just can't do things the same way anymore. It's not serving you. It is not allowing you to feel good about yourself, to flourish, to thrive. As much as you want to keep, going at it in a certain way because you believe that if you don't do something, nothing will happen. We also need to look at is what we're doing actually working? Is it making us feel better? Are we seeing the results that we wish to see? It might be time for a change. In order to experience that change that we want in our lives, we have to be willing to do things differently, right? Like that card that came up in the theme for this month, flexible. We must be willing to be open to seeing things differently, to trying new things, and to get that new different result. So a decision must be made, whatever it is that you are wanting to see happen in your life. We can't do things the same way anymore. We have to make a choice. How are we going to change things? Are we going to take a different action? Or are we going to stop and let the answer find us, right? You will know what is right for you. And how I know what is right for me when I'm in this situation is the choice feels really peaceful. It may not be a popular choice, so it may not be something that others would necessarily approve of or support you in or even understand. But for me, when I consider a choice and it feels so peaceful and so supportive towards myself, that's when I know that that is the direction that I'm meant to go in. And it's not necessarily an easy thing to do. So think about where it is in your life you need to make a choice to make something move in a different direction or just actually start moving. And if it's not that easy for you to do, if it's not that clear, ask yourself, ask your higher self, close your eyes and ask your higher self, what is it that I need to believe in? What is it that I need to have faith in? And what am I being guided to do? Where am I being guided to go? And lean into that. Like I mentioned, the choice that is best for us is likely not the choice that we would make on our own if we left it up to our ego, because our ego is very afraid. It only sees lack and separation, and it wants to force things to go a certain way and to just get something out of it. It wants that security, it wants stability. And no offense to our wonderful ego. It is a part of who we are as human beings. It's not something that we need to feel shame about or to suppress, but to just acknowledge that whenever we are making a choice and it's giving us anxiety, it's likely because it's coming from the ego, which is really just looking for safety and security. So when we make choices that are out of fear, coming from a state of lack, what I've found for myself is that I usually jump right back into a lesson that I have to learn again, a cycle that is going to repeat itself until I learn what it is that, well, life has been trying to teach me. And that's where the card round and round comes in. It's inviting you to look at the situation from a higher view, a different lens, okay? Maybe it looks like this thing in your life, this experience keeps on happening, it keeps coming back. Every time you try to do something about it, to empower yourself, even taking different actions, inviting in the new and going with it can still lead you back to a cycle or a lesson repeating itself. And it is absolutely not a bad thing. We likely chose to have this experience. Our soul chose to have this experience because that was the path that it wanted to go through, to grow through, to evolve, right? So there's so many different ways in which we can experience a particular lesson. We can experience it from the state of a victim, being afraid and doing things out of fear. We can experience it from the state of being aware. So we now know, hey, life is teaching us something here. And even if you don't do something drastically different, the fact that you see what's going on, you're aware, you're going to experience it totally different. And then you could also experience the very same lesson from an empowered and from a healed state. So you've gone through this before. You've you know it, like it is ingrained in you. You know what this lesson is and what it has taught you and how you have become the best, most authentic version of yourself because of it. But you're experiencing it again, okay? You're gonna experience it differently because you are a different person. So, again, it's not to say that it is ever a bad thing to experience the same challenge over and over again. There's always the invitation to look at, wow, how far have I come through all of the different experiences? How much have I grown? How proud of myself am I for going through all of this, going through all of these struggles, and still choosing to be the greatest version of myself? It's it's funny that a really difficult time and difficult experience can turn out to be quite amazing for you when you look at it in that way. All right. And our last question: how can we invite more abundance into our lives? The three cards are time to go, between worlds, and milk and honey. And here, the combined message is all about letting go, welcoming the unknown, and trusting that what it is that you need most, it will be met. Now, where this applies to in your life, you may be experiencing an ending, or maybe it's time for something to end. It's run its course. You've done the most that you can. And it's actually time to close the chapter. We're being invited to honor this experience for what it was. It may be painful, and it is not saying suppress the feelings that came or come with this experience. So feel whatever it is that comes up, but also know that it was always meant to come to this because it allowed you to become the version that you are right now. And in this becoming, you're being led to whatever is next. And I always believe that wherever you're being led to next is going to be so much better for your growth and the way in which you get to experience life. And it may not be what you had planned, it may not be what you had hoped for, expected for, but whatever it is, wherever you're being led to, it is what you need, not what you want. So let things be, accept it that it had to happen this way, and appreciate everything about it. So the painful experiences allowed you to be who you are today. And maybe there were some really wonderful moments along the way as well. We don't have to forget about those. We can be grateful that they ever happened. And I do believe that when we can recognize the amazing moments in the struggle, then it invites us to receive more amazing moments because when we appreciate even the little things, even if you just appreciate the air that you get to breathe, you're going to receive more. All right. So make peace with whatever is asking to be let go. And it may come with a period of uncertainty. So as you say goodbye and you step into the next phase of your life, that next phase may not necessarily come with a roadmap, come with any clarity or any like certainty of where you're being led to, but know that that is okay. It's normal. And I get to say this with complete confidence because I have experienced it this year. And what I've learned about being in this container of change, of transition, is that it gives you space. It gives you space where you otherwise wouldn't have given that to yourself to look back on how things played out, how you chose to live your life in the past, to make peace with what needed to come to an end, to give yourself time to grieve, because we do need to grieve. When something comes to an end, however it comes to an end, it could be a slow, painful ending, or it could be out of the blue, abrupt ending. Emotions come up within ourselves that need to be acknowledged. And when we don't acknowledge it, it's not like it goes away. It's gonna store itself somewhere and it's gonna wait to come back up when you give yourself that time to be still and to not really be jumping to the next thing. So if you do find yourself in a period of uncertainty, just know that it's actually a gift. You have been gifted time to slow down, to appreciate how far you've come, to grieve whatever it is that you've had to let go of, and to just enjoy where you are. Because As much as we want to move on to whatever is next, we want to be, having those goals, working hard towards something that makes us super excited. But what I found is that when we're always focused on what's next, we don't actually stop to see that what we have right here around us in this very moment is something that we once dreamed of having. Our dreams have come true right now around us. And I promise you that there is something that is in your life that was once a dream of yours. It may be hard to find, but it's there if you dig deep. So, in this time of stillness and quietness that you may have in your life, appreciate where you are, really enjoy what it is that you have, because if things were to be taken away, and like, touch wood, I'm not wishing for things to be taken away, but if certain things in your life were to be taken away right now, it would not be nice. You would not be happy. You'd be feeling so much worse than how you may be feeling right now. At least that's how I feel. So look around, think about what it is that you have in your life right now that you're so grateful that you get to have, that you get to experience, and truly cherish it, enjoy it. And before you know it, by being in that space of acceptance, gratitude, peace, your life will start to change. Sometimes without you even realizing it, things move in a certain direction that may not be like bang, huge change. It can be tiny little changes that come up in your life where you just stop one moment and you see, oh my goodness, life changed in such an amazing way, and I didn't even realize it. So, by opening yourself up to letting things go and making peace with it and trusting that it's actually the best thing for you, you will start to see evidence in your life of things getting better. And it will be different for everyone, of course. Like in some cases, you may get the thing that you really wanted and quick. Like maybe there's a job that you really want and you're going to get it. Maybe there's something that like you want to join a class or a community and you get it. It may happen quick, but it could also be really slow and really disguised. Um, like, for example, my life right now, I'm in a very quiet, slow, peaceful stage in my life where I have had to make peace with the life that I had for the last 32-ish years. And I'm now preparing myself mentally, spiritually, emotionally for the new life that wants to emerge. I don't know what it is yet, okay? But what I didn't notice was happening in my surroundings, which was actually painfully obvious, but I just never saw it, was that I was given the peace and the freedom that I desperately dreamt of 1 year ago. So, where I was 1 year ago, I was overwhelmed, overworking myself. I was exhausted. And I even remember saying these words. I feel like I'm a slave to my calendar because my days were full from morning to night. And I was responsible for that. I mean, of course, A full-time job is going to take up so much of your time, but I went and overbooked myself beyond that, um, like scheduling things for myself before work and after work. And I was losing it big time because I was just working at a pace that was absolutely not sustainable for me. And my greatest wish at that time was to just be free, to just have time to lay on my bed when I wake up and not have to rush to do anything, to have time to cuddle my cat, to have time to listen to an audiobook or read a physical book, to just have peace, to choose how I want to spend my day, to not feel like I'm forced to spend my day in a certain way. And when my career came to an end at the beginning of this year, it was at the end of May, I did not realize that my wildest dream of peace and freedom had actually come true in a way that I did not expect. Okay, so I would never have, whoops, I just smacked my mic. Um, Me walking away from my career was never something that I thought I would do, and it's never something that I would have chosen for myself, right? But I was guided to do it by that inner voice that I allowed to come forward. And it allowed life to play out in a way that I would never have expected and never have chosen, but it gave me exactly what I wanted: peace and freedom. And I know that I needed it, but I just couldn't see it. And it's taken me months. Okay, so end of May, it is now December. It's like 6 or 7 months. I'm not going to attempt to do math right now, but it's been about half a year since my dream came true. And I'm only realizing it now because for the longest time, I was fighting against what had happened. I was so upset that things didn't go the way that I wanted it to. I never wanted to stop working. That would never have been my choice. But the way in which I was overworking myself, the universe stepped in and kicked me out because I was making myself sick. I was never going to survive my full life term if I continued that way. And after so many months of being angry, trying to force a new way to work and it didn't work, and allowing myself to be upset and grieve and accept that this is actually what I needed, I can finally step back and see, oh my gosh, this is everything that I wanted. And I mean, of course, I would love to work again. Um, I don't know what it is yet. I feel like what I'm doing here with these readings, it plays a part of where I'm being led to, because I doubt that I would be so passionate about this if it wasn't a big part of where I'm being led to. Okay, so as much as I would love to work again, um, and experience that way of living where I am contributing towards something and I can be independent in that way, I am truly grateful for this time that I've been gifted with to release the person that I was, that was that was living in so much fear and in so much struggle, and it was self-inflicted. I'm so grateful that I could see, had the time and the space to see, oh my gosh, like I I don't I don't dislike who I was for so much of my life because I had no idea what I was doing to myself. So I have so much compassion for how hard I tried to make things work. And I'm very proud of coming this far. But I'm also so grateful that life turned upside down and it hurt, but it gave me the opportunity to do it differently, to do it in a way that feels good to me, most authentic to who I am. And that was a very long story, but it's changed my life. And I really hope that in me sharing this experience that I've had, if you are feeling like you're being called to take care of yourself in a better way, but it's really unclear, or if you are already in that space where you've done what's best for you, but like nothing is happening, and you're really annoyed that nothing is happening, just know that you will come out the other side so transformed, healed, enlightened, and it only gets better. And I can't say how long it takes. I mean, it's been just over half a year for me, and I don't know if I'm totally out of it, but what I do know is that I am feeling so good, better than I've felt in like 20 years, maybe. And I know that it's only going to get better from here. So if you haven't reached that stage yet, know that it is coming. It could be much quicker for you, or it could be, I don't know, a little bit longer. The time, I don't believe that the time actually matters. How long it takes, that's not what's important. But what matters is that you fully trust that it is exactly what's right for you, and that when the time is right, when things align in its most perfect time, the path ahead will become clear for you, and you'll know where you need to go or what the next step will be. You'll just know. All right. So that is the reading for December. And before we wrap up, we do have divine guidance. And that is where I have picked two cards to provide you with an answer or just some direction in something that you need guidance on, whatever it is in your life. It could be anything. So I've picked two cards, and if you feel called, you can choose one of the two cards. Okay? So we've got card number one and card number two. Ooh, I should mention that these cards are from the Divine Beloved Oracle by Tosha Silva. And I think I also forgot to mention the first deck that I used for the December reading. That was The Wisdom of the Oracle by Colette Baron Reid. So if you're interested in working with these cards, or you just want to learn more about them, I will include the full name and authors in the description of this video. Okay, back to divine guidance. If you feel called, you can pick card number one or card number two. Okay, if you need a bit more time, you can also just pause and give yourself a second to think about it. So, card number one, if you pick this one, here is your message. This card is entitled Heart. I allow love to lead. So, this is referring to the heart space. And there's a message on this card. It says, change me, divine beloved, into one who can allow love to lead my life. May I offer myself completely to the highest, so all may occur as needed. Grant me peace and contentment wherever I am. Use me for the greatest good. So, if this is the card that you chose, the message here is to follow your heart. Whatever it is that you have on your mind, trust that your heart knows exactly what it is that you need. It has the right message for you. And you can close your eyes and you can ask yourself, what does my heart want me to know? Or what does my higher self, what does my soul want me to know? And how I know that I'm getting the message is that it sounds so calming, so kind, so compassionate, so gentle. That is when you know that you've received the guidance from your heart. Okay, and card number 2, it's entitled Clarity. Clarity is my birthright. And the message here is change me, divine beloved, into one who remembers in every moment my true self, love, light, wisdom, and divinity. So if this is the card that you chose, card number 2, the message here is to remember who you really are for whatever it is that you need clarity on. Maybe you're feeling clouded, anxious, feeling like you don't know what's going on, you don't know where to go, and it can feel extremely overwhelming. And whatever you feel, of course, is valid. But what I have found during such times is when I allow myself to breathe, to remind myself that this experience that I'm having, it is not my entire life. It does not define who I truly am. And what I truly am is an infinite being. I am a unique, creative expression of the universe. Nothing that I experience, however difficult, can take that away from me. When you remind yourself of who you truly are, you create the right conditions within yourself, that level, that frequency that can then open you up to the clarity that you need. All right. And that is it. That's the reading for December. Thank you so much for joining me. And I hope that the messages here resonated with you. If there's anything that did resonate with you that you'd like to share, I'd love to hear from you. And remember to celebrate this year that's coming to an end. Enjoy December, have fun, even if you're busy, if you're working, make that time to enjoy where you are, to celebrate yourself, and to celebrate the year that's coming to an end. I will see you soon. Thank you.